Hi, I'm Péan, and this is Reclaiming Your Health. Good evening, and welcome to Reclaiming Your Health. I have missed you all. It's been so long since I've been live. You know, life sometimes has a way of doing its thing, and it's done its thing with me. So I have been very busy traveling, not really in an environment to do a live. So I'm here tonight. I'm finally back home, and I'm excited to actually finally finish part 2 of Let Food Be Thy Medicine. So if you all can remember, the last time that we met and we spoke about this, we talked about sweeteners, and we talked about how they affect your body, how they cause your insulin to spike in your body, what are the good substitutes you can use in place for sugar, etc. And I'll just go over a few things for you. I suggested several things that you can use when you're baking, when you're cooking, that you can use for a substitute for sugar. Bananas, ripe banana is one of those things. Applesauce is one of those things. Not only do they add sweetness, but they're also a substitute for things like egg. Okay, so you've got two things you're hitting with that. Get familiar with things like monk fruit. Get familiar with things like stevia. There are now mixtures of stevia and monk fruit that are very delicious. Stevia used to have kind of a funny aftertaste, but they've really been working at it, and it's gotten a lot better. And what is so great about stevia and monk fruit is they are totally natural. Stevia actually comes from a plant, and monk fruit actually comes from fruit. So your body is able to metabolize and break them down because they're familiar with it. It does not cause your insulin levels to spike, which is what we want. We want steady insulin levels because we'll stay satiated longer. And you don't have to worry about setting yourself up for things like diabetes in the future. And if you do have diabetes, these are great substitutes as well. So that's what we spoke about the first time. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about food pyramids, and we're going to talk about HDL and LDL and what are those things? Do we have any control of them? Yes, we do. And how to eat to optimize your health. All right, so I'm going to be looking over to the side a little bit because I have my notes over here. So the food pyramid that most of us grew up with is very problematic. Okay, the food pyramid that we grew up with, this is one of them. There is another one that actually had carbohydrates, grains, rice, and pasta at the bottom. So not only was that one bad, this one is bad as well. Why? Because they are encouraging you to eat. Now, obviously, this pyramid, we understand the bottom is what you're supposed to eat the most of, right? So we're looking at meat, fish, fowl, and eggs. Can somebody tell me what the issue is with those 4 things? Why would we not want to eat large amounts of these items? I know somebody can tell me. Why shouldn't we eat large amounts of meat, fish, fowl, and eggs? Okay, I'll tell you. Because they all have cholesterol. Cholesterol is found in meat and animal products. What does cholesterol do to you? Cholesterol contributes to hardening of your arteries, arteriosclerosis. That fat gets into your arteries and clogs your arteries. It makes it harder for the blood to pump to your heart. Your heart is working overtime to make up for the restriction that is there because of this high cholesterol. So that pyramid, obviously, to me, that's right, Amber's fat. That pyramid to me, obviously, somebody was on the payroll. Somebody was getting paid to push this agenda that is what you should eat. But that should not be the lion's share of what you eat. Actually, we should flip it. And if you are somebody who consumes meat, animal products, that should be the very least amount of anything that you eat in a day. It should be the least amount. It should not be the most amount. Now, there are some other pyramids that actually say that the bulk of what we eat for the day should be carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates have gotten a bad rap, but there are different types of carbohydrates. We have complex carbs and we have simple carbs. Well, unfortunately, the other pyramid is talking about simple carbs. What are simple carbs? Simple carbs are rice, white rice, pasta, baked goods. All of those things are just as bad as eating a whole bunch of meat. Why? Because those simple carbs cause your insulin levels to spike. There's virtually no fiber. And when you do not burn off those carbohydrates, guess what it turns into? Fat. So when you're eating carbohydrates, you need to eat complex carbs. Those are carbs that are nutrient dense and they have fiber in them and they get your body going. What is being suggested with that original pyramid is literally empty carbs, empty calories. So somebody could go to the store and you can pick up some chips and there you go with some carbohydrates. Those are not the carbohydrates you need to be eating. So that also, flip it. If you're going to do anything like that, it needs to be minimal. It does not need to be the lion's share. So let's look at the new and improved food pyramid. Let's bring that up. Now look at that pyramid. Is that beautiful or what? What do we see at the bottom? We see the rainbow. We see fruit and vegetables. We see things that are in their natural state, fiberful, nutrient dense, antioxidant rich. Those are the things that you should flood your body with. And the other things come later. All right. So you see on this pyramid, it says that you should have 2 to 4 cups of veggies a day and 1.5 to 2.5 cups of fruit a day. Can you imagine if that's how we ate, how differently our bodies would work? How much more efficiently we would burn our fat? How much more efficiently we would get into the shape we would like to be in? If the lion's share of our eating was fruit and vegetables, we'd have a home run. So that should be our goal, that the lion's share of what we eat should be fruit and vegetables and whole grains. I spoke with you all a couple weeks ago about the 80-20 rule, and that falls in line with that as well. 80% of what we take in per meal should be plants. That other 20%, you can do what you want to do with that 20%, but 80%, if you focus on eating fruits, vegetables, and complex carbs that are whole grain, heart healthy, you're on the right track. Let's go back to that pyramid. All right. Do you see? So we have whole grains, 3 to 5.5 cups. And then when we go up a little farther, we have the fortified dairy substitutes, which are things like almond milk, soy milk, oat milk. And then we have our beans, our seeds. And at the very, very top, those are fats and our sweets. Okay. So this is the pyramid that will best serve your body. So let's break down within this pyramid what in particular you should be paying attention to. Okay, so the vegetables that are the best for you are going to be leafy green vegetables. We're talking about spinach, collards, uh, kale, cabbage, broccoli. Those are great because they're full of chlorophyll. They're bright and green. They've gotten all this energy from the sun. When you get them in your body, it just goes through your body. Your body takes everything that it needs and it gets rid of it. It's full of fiber. Why do I keep saying fiber? Why is that so important? Because that keeps you regular. It is very, very important for us to be conscious of our gut health and our digestive system. And that is why it is so important to make sure that we have a good amount of natural fiber in our diet. And we can get that from leafy greens. The next thing, fruits such as apples, bananas, oranges, pears, grapes, and prunes. Those are great as well. Now, if you're somebody who has a blood sugar issue, there's certain things that you should not eat that much of, but these are great fruits. Whole grains. What are we talking about when we say whole grains? And it's funny because I know when you go to the store now, everything says whole grains on it. You know, whole grain cereal, whole grain this and that. Don't believe the hype. When we're talking about whole grains, we're talking about oatmeal, plain oatmeal, steel cut oats, things like that. We're talking about brown white rice. Brown rice is not going to cook the same way that white rice does, but it's better for you. Whole grain bread or tortillas. Whole grain bread or tortillas, okay. I would say stay close to things that are close to their natural state. We don't want anything that is processed. We don't want anything that is preservative packed. That is one of the reasons why we need to get more familiar with cooking these things, because when you're cooking them, you're in control of them. Let me give an example for oatmeal. If you go to the grocery store and you pick up individual packets of oatmeal, say you go to the shelf and you see, whole grain oatmeal, maple brown sugar flavored. You pick that up. That is full of salt. It is full of sugar. It's full of corn syrup. Basically, everything that was good about that oatmeal is gone because they put all this other stuff in it. You don't want to do that. Buy your oatmeal. You can buy a quick oats that is plain, but quick oats. And you can add your mashed up, very ripe banana to that to make it sweet. You can add a dollop of apple sauce to make it sweet. You can add a little bit of monk fruit sweetener or stevia, something like that. You can add dates. You can add prunes. All of these things you can add to your oatmeal to give it a sweetness. So not only are you going to get the dietary fiber from what you've added, if it's the dates or the prunes and things like that, you're also getting it from the oatmeal. So I want you all to focus on eating food that is, the word I'm going to use is pure as possible, as unmessed around with as possible. When they talk about going to the grocery store and you should stay like on the outer rim, that's why. Find fresh, healthy foods to get you through your day. That's the focus. All right. The next thing that is great for a heart healthy eating plan are fat-free or low-fat foods such as milk, cheese, or yogurt. Okay, so if you're somebody who still is vegetarian, you're not vegan, yes, those things would be good to add. I would encourage you to check out something like coconut yogurt or soy yogurt or almond milk yogurt, as I would suggest you try almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, rice milk, those types of things. And cheese has come a long way when it comes to the vegan world. So try out some of these great cheeses that they have now that are made from things like coconut milk, etc. They're delicious. They are low fat and they are not complicated. There's not a whole bunch of stuff in them. Next time I speak with you, I'll have some examples of the products that I use. I didn't think to get those this evening, but if you're vegetarian, milk, cheese, and yogurt, make sure it's reduced fat. You don't want to drink whole milk. You want a reduced fat cheese, etc. But the best way to do it would just be plant-based. Okay, what are our protein-rich foods? Nuts, seeds, and soy products. Things like tofu, things like tempeh, those are great. Legumes such as kidney beans, lentils, chickpeas, black-eyed peas, and lima beans. If you happen to be somebody who doesn't like beans, you're going to have a hard way to go. But if you do, there's so many different things you can do with them. Today, I made falafel with chickpeas and zucchini. Black-eyed peas are something that can be made several different ways. Lima beans, kidney beans. You can have the good old haystack that we in the Adventist tradition, that's something that we do quite often. You can get some corn tortillas. You get some great beans on there. You layer that with lettuce and tomato and scallions and a swirl of cashew cheese or plant-based cheese, and you've got a great, filling, satiating, heart-healthy meal. So oil and foods high in monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. Okay, so this gets a little tricky because the oils are best for us to eat are minimally processed, and they're unsaturated, and they offer omega-3 fatty acids, which increase your HDL. Okay? There are oils that will increase your LDL, which is what we don't want increased. LDL will lead to high cholesterol. When they say high cholesterol, they're talking about those LDL levels are up there. We want to increase our HDL, which are the omega fatty acids, which are the omega-3s. Now, there's a lot of omega-6, which is the LDL out there. You want to get more of a balance, okay? So the oils that are going to be the best for LDL are things like avocado oil, macadamia nut oil, olive oil. Those are the best oils. Now, those are also oils that are not necessarily for high heat cooking. They're not for frying. And that's where you get into trouble, because the oils that are best for frying are those that are high in omega-6 fatty acids. That's like sunflower oil, safflower oil, corn oil, vegetable oil, and canola oil. So if you do use those oils for things like frying, use them minimally. That should not be something that is in regular rotation in your kitchen. That's every once in a while you want to treat yourself and you're doing something like, I don't know, tempura, cauliflower, or something like that, or some kind of vegetable fritter. That's when you would use that, but sparingly. Okay. Nuts are great for us. Walnuts, almonds, pine nuts, nuts and seed butters, seeds like sesame seeds, sunflower, pumpkin, or flax, avocados, and tofu. Now, the great thing about oils are oils help to keep us satiated. That fat helps to keep us satiated. So it has a role. Every once in a while in the food world, there'll be this rage about, non-fat, sugar-free. And if you look at these things, if it says it's non-fat or low fat, I can guarantee you it's high in sugar. If it says that it's low sugar, I can guarantee you that it's high in fat, because something has to give. And that's when we're talking about these processed and prepackaged foods. Stay away from that. And you can make yourself a lovely salad. You can do a drizzle of walnut oil on it or a drizzle of olive oil. You can make a delicious hummus where you've got your heart-healthy, fiber-rich chickpeas. You've got some sesame seeds. You've got the tahini going in there. You've got some great olive oil going in there. And that all comes together, and you eat that, and your body is getting everything that it needs in a healthy way. It's going to make sure that your LDL and your HDL are balanced. You're not going to have too much of anything. It's delicious and it's good for you. So those types of things. Okay, let's go back to our list. So going back to this foods to eat, if you recall when we met last time, I was talking about the need to eat certain things organic. And if you look at the top of this list, pretty much everything here listed are things that you should eat organic. Why? Because there's no skin really. The only thing that has a skin that you're going to peel off would be the oranges and the bananas. Otherwise, you're eating the flesh and all. So when you're doing things like spinach, collard greens, kale, cabbage, broccoli, and carrots, please buy them organic. If you recall, the last time we met, I said that greens can have up to 93 different types of pesticides on them. Okay? Because they're just out there being grown and bugs can get to them easily, they're trying to kill off these bugs. And so our greens are being saturated with pesticides. If you don't buy it organic, what are you doing? You're literally taking those pesticides, you're rinsing off maybe 3 or 5 of them if you're lucky, you're chopping it up, you're cooking it, and you're ingesting all of that. And we're wondering why we're coming down with these rare cancers, all of these diseases, etc., even though we're eating healthy. It's because we've got to take it to the next step. And the next step is organic. And I understand that organic is pricey, but you know what's even more expensive? Hospital bills, bad health, and leaving your loved ones because you died. So this needs to be a priority. It needs to be something that you value, and you need to put your money where your value is. And let food be thy medicine. And that can be achieved by eating whole foods, eating organic foods, okay? The other thing that I want to point out, I want to talk about with you all is the importance of water. The importance of water. Water is so underestimated. Water is so key to our health. You should, on the average, take in half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, that means every day you need to be taking in at least 100 ounces of water. Now, that may seem like it's a lot, and I'm just using this for an example. I'm using this bottle because it's the right amount. I didn't drink what was in it. This is a 28-ounce bottle, right? So if I drink 3.5 of these, I've gotten in my water for the day. And if I wake up in the morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and the first thing I do is drink half of this bottle, and then an hour later, I drink another half of the bottle, and so on, and so on, and so on. Before 7 hours, before 12 hours is up, before 7 p.m., I have taken in all the water I need for the day. You have to be intentional about it. It will seem overwhelming at first. You may be urinating a lot at first, but your body will get used to it. This is key. This is key for great sleep. This is key for weight loss. This is key for keeping your digestive system flowing. This, along with fiber, you will be regular, and you will be amazed to see what happens to your body, how much your skin clears up, your joints won't hurt as much anymore. And let me tell you something else. I know this from experience. There are so many times when you think that you're hungry and you're actually thirsty. So if you're somebody who is also challenged with your weight, see the difference that water will make. Whenever you think you're hungry, the first thing you should do is you should pick up something to drink, some water, and drink it down and wait. Now, some people don't like water plain. It's hard for them to drink it. So what I would suggest is just a little squeeze of lemon, a squeeze of lime. You can even do a squeeze of orange if you want to, or just like an ounce or 2 of orange juice in your water, just to give it a little bit of flavor to make it easier for you to drink. But whatever you do, make sure you get in every day half your body weight in ounces. So not 200 pounds of water, not even 200 ounces of water. If you're 200 pounds, cut that in half. That's 100 ounces. And that's what you should be drinking regularly. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me? I know I saw one person on. Any questions? We will be back in the kitchen. Will we be? I hope to be back in the kitchen next week. I'll be traveling again, so we'll see how that works. Any questions this evening? Okay, we don't have any questions. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to touch. We talked about the oils, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed walnut oil. And, somebody may be wondering, what's the point of cold pressed? That is something else that is part of the food lingo. Cold pressed means that there is no heat used to extract whatever is being had. So you'll see cold pressed juices. So that means that there is no heat used in processing the juice. Why is that important? That's important because heat often kills. Heat will kill some of those nutrients. So if it's cold pressed, it's done in such a way that it's able to retain and maintain all of the nutrients, vitamins, minerals, etc., that exist in that fruit, vegetable, or oil. So that's the importance for that. If nobody has any questions, I think we're going to wrap it up. But the number one thing I want to let you all know, and I want to encourage you to, is to take charge of your health. I have said this numerous times in different cooking classes and in conversations. You cannot depend on the USDA or the FDA to put the best things out there for you to eat. The bottom line for them is how to make money. The lobbyists that pay them, that go after them, are all about making money. Your health is not even third or fourth on the list. Okay? So that means that we have to be active in looking at labels. When you buy something, look at the label. See what it says. Is it high in salt? Is it high in fat? Is it high in sugar? Is it high in carbohydrates? How do you read your labels? You need to start reading labels and knowing what you're ingesting. And the more you read labels, I bet you're going to be more likely to go home and figure out how to make it yourself. Convenience in the United States of America is killing us. Snack foods, they are at an all-time high. People will walk right by an apple and they'll pick up some chips. The people that make those chips know exactly how to flavor them. They know exactly what to put into them that are addictive, that keep bringing you back. There's nothing good to come from that. I have people who say, oh, I'm a vegan. I eat Oreos because they're vegan. Oreos are trash. They're garbage. I don't care if they're vegan. They don't taste like chocolate. There's nothing positive about it, and there's no reason you should be ingesting that. I've talked to you all about retraining your palate. That is something that can very easily be done if you are intentional about it. So my word for you this evening is intentional. Be intentional about your health. Be intentional about what you eat. Be intentional when you go shopping. Write a list before you go shopping so you don't get caught up. Don't go shopping when you're hungry. Be very thoughtful about what you're doing, recognizing that you are feeding your temple. We only have one temple, and when it's been when our temple has been compromised, That's where disease and all types of things come in, and we don't want that. We want food to be our medicine. So let's eat, let's shop, and let's cook like it. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.